everybody. Welcome to Diamond Secrets Revealed. Today, you are going to get a behind-the-scenes look at where we do the diamond setting for Rejewelvenated Designs. I actually painted this room. It has all these funky designs on the wall because it's creative and correct. So today we are going to be talking with Michael Viviano. He is an independent diamond setter and the expert setter for Rejewelvenated Designs. So welcome, Michael.
Good morning, everybody.
So it's so fun to have you here, and being a diamond setter is such an interesting choice of work. How long have you been a diamond setter, and what made you become one?
Well, I've been doing this for over 45 years now. And as I was growing up, my next door neighbor had a jewelry store in East Meadow, and he asked me if I wanted to come in and start learning how to do jewelry repairs, which I did. And I actually ride my bicycle from Franklin Square into East Meadow every day after school and come home with him. At the same time, his son had a diamond setting shop in New York City. And when I was a senior in high school, he asked me if I wanted to come in and start to learn as an apprentice. And that's how I got started.
Wow, you were an ambitious little kid. That must have been fun for you.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to start to get good at it?
Well, when I first went in, you basically learned on silver and nickels and brass pieces, and just learn how to learn the touch that you needed and to get some finesse in your hands on how to work with real jewelry. And then when he saw that I was able to handle that, it would slowly bring real jewelry in and start working and start setting diamonds on real pieces. So over the course of the first 6 months, he just started making a very small salary from that, and then grew from there.
That's awesome. Now you're an expert. So all this month, we've been talking about diamonds, and everybody loves diamonds. So what do you like most about working with diamonds?
That every diamond is different, and every piece is different that you're working on. Take this necklace that you're wearing this morning. This is a piece that I've been working on while I've been home. It's actually a replica of a necklace I did over 20 years ago for a famous client, and he had it in diamonds and gold. This one is actually silver and CZs, but each link has over 30 diamonds in it, and the total necklace has over 600 stones in it, complete.
Wow, it is pretty heavy. So what is the biggest diamond you ever set?
I set it probably an 8-carat emerald cut, which you have here today.
So this one?
This one here, yeah. As far as a fancy shaped stone, this would be probably one of the largest ones I've set. And I believe that I set in a round stone, probably close to a 10-carat stone. What's
easier to set, a fancy shape or a round?
A round is much easier to set. And the larger the stone is, it's easier to set also. You just have to get it out of your head of what the stone is worth and just treat it as the object that it is and what the piece of jewelry that it's going into.
I'd be scared, for sure.
I never put the idea of the price of a stone in my head when I was working on one.
Yeah, yeah. You kind of have to leave that out there. So some people insist on setting their diamond really high, and some people want it set super low. So when it comes to setting it high or low, is there a better way or a best way to show off the diamond? Is it better to set it high or better to set it low?
Well, years ago when I first started, everybody wanted their diamond set high because they thought that it made the diamond look bigger and made it look, stand out much more. And over the course of the last 15 to 20 years, the trend has been to set the stone lower because it's much more secure when it's lower, and it looks like it's part of integral part of the ring like that also. And it's, it doesn't get caught on gloves or caught on other objects as easily.
Yeah, I know. If I have a stone that's set high, I knock it into everything.
Right.
And and I definitely don't want to chip it, especially if it's an 8-carat diamond, right? So when you first started, we talked a little bit about telling the difference between CZs and natural diamonds a couple of weeks ago. So as a diamond setter, did you know how to tell the difference between diamonds and CZs when you first started?
Absolutely not. They all look the same to me at that point. When I first started, we weren't really working with any CZs. We were working basically with just diamonds. And then when CZs were brought in, you really couldn't tell it. I really couldn't tell the difference until you started looking at them, on a daily basis. And then we had a simple test for testing whether a diamond was CZs or diamonds, which would be taking a carborundum wheel and trying to scratch the surface of the diamond. You cannot scratch the girdle on a diamond with the carborundum, but if you put it up against a CZ, it would immediately get a little scratch mark on it. And that would be a physical test that we did. But over the years, your eyes became, much more trained about the refraction of light coming through the stones. Mm-hmm. And it's much more easier now to tell the difference just by looking at them, the two next to each other.
And do you set simulants differently? Is there a different, way that you need to set them, or you set them similar to diamonds?
The setting technique is exactly the same. It's just that the pressure that the diamond can take is much more than the pressure that a simulant can. So you just have to be much more careful and have a finer touch with a synthetic stone.
So, jewelry is set in all different ways. What are the different setting types that there are in jewelry? And what's your favorite one?
Well, engagement rings, the classic Tiffany style head, the 6-prong or the 4-prong head, has been in style forever. And has always been very popular. Mm-hmm. But the favorite style of setting for me is actually pave work, where the stones are set flush into the metal, and you really have to do a layout on your own and set the stones out, drill all the holes, and reset the stones into the metal and do a bright cutting finish on them after that. So you get a much more feel of creating a piece of artwork like that.
It takes a lot of work and patience, right? Mm-hmm. You have the patience for that?
Yes.
That's good. Mm-hmm. You must have done a lot of it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are probably wondering which type of setting style is the most secure.
Well, with an engagement ring, a 6-prong head would be much more secure than a 4-prong, just for the fact that if a prong gets caught on something with a 6-prong head, you still have the other 5 there to keep the stone in. With a 4-prong mounting, if you pull a prong away, the stone could fall out much more easily with a 4-prong set.
So what about, there's a style now or there's a trend now where people want very thin prongs. Is there a problem with that?
It's much more delicate today because everybody wants the stones to show off, and they want them to make it almost look like there's absolutely no metal holding the stones in, which you have to be much more careful when you're wearing a piece of jewelry like that.
Yeah, for sure. Because the diamond is the most valuable that's in your ring, so you really have to protect it. So you deal with a lot of customers, especially over 40 years or more than 40 years. What mistakes do you see customers making with their diamond jewelry?
After you create a beautiful piece of jewelry for them and they're so excited to get it, then they'll come back 3 months or 6 months later, and the ring is all beat up and very, very dirty, and it's just that they're not taking care of it properly. They believe that a piece of jewelry that once it's made is indestructible. And you realize that it really needs a lot of care because the metal itself is soft, and the diamonds being very hard, they can also chip very easily also.
Yeah, for sure. So almost every woman that is married wears their wedding band up against their engagement ring. Do you see a problem wearing the wedding band and engagement ring together, or what problems do you see when they do that?
Well, the wedding band and the diamonds will actually cut into the base of the prongs on the engagement ring and actually cut a groove in them and weaken it over time. Yeah. And it becomes structurally weak, and they don't understand why their diamond is constantly coming loose. And a lot of times they don't even notice that the ring is cutting into the side of, the engagement ring and weakening. You take it to, a beach house out in the Hamptons, and after a storm, it gets structurally, the 4x4s that are holding the house up become weakened at the very base, but the rest of the house looks absolutely beautiful. Then it finally collapses. Well, it's collapsing because it's not structurally sound. And that's the same thing that happens with an engagement ring.
So what solution can you offer for that?
Well, I can solder the two rings together at the base so they don't have any movement between the two if they actually want to keep those two rings together all the time, or it's just suggesting that you wear the two rings on separate hands.
Yeah. So I see that a lot too with the wearing. People don't know that the diamonds are actually cutting in, and then if it cuts too much, prongs get worn, and then you lose your stone, and that's what you want to avoid. So for today's bride and for engagement rings now, what type of mountings do you find the most popular?
I find the halo ring has been the most popular over the last 10 to 15 years because you set your center stone low and you put a rim of diamonds going around it to enhance it, to make it look bigger than what it actually is. And that seems to be the most popular one over the last 10 years.
So throughout your jewelry career, have you done more custom design pieces or more mass production work?
I've worked in both fields where I've done custom made work and production work. I grew up doing production work in the city. We actually had an account that sold to the United States Army, and they sold diamond engagement rings and buttercup earrings in the barracks themselves. And they were very, very fussy about the quality, believe it or not, of the styles of setting that were done. They would actually look at things under a microscope and send them back little red markers on the prongs, and saying that this prong is lifted a little bit, or there's a little air space in the bearing that you cut for the rings, and you really learned how to fine-tune your expertise at that point. And as far as custom design works, that's something that I just picked up over time, working with a German woman who learned in Germany how to make models out of silver. And then we make them out of wax now, and you get to create a piece of jewelry like that, which is much more rewarding than production work.
For sure. And each one is unique and one of a kind, so it must be really special. So what's involved in producing a custom design piece as opposed to mass production piece of jewelry?
Well, first you would meet with the client and see what type of personality they have and what type of piece of jewelry they want made for them. And at that point, it would take I could make a wax model of the jewelry of a piece that they would want, which would be an exact replica of it after it was casted off in gold. And that, you can make much more adjustments in the wax, whether to whatever style they want, and they're much more involved in the process of creating something that's unique for them.
That must be really exciting.
Yeah. And then after they approve the wax, it's sent to the casting house. The ring is casted off, and I get back a raw casting, which needs to be pre-polished and get ready to set the stones in it. And we'll set the diamonds in it at that point, and do the final polish and rhodium, and create a piece of jewelry like that.
That's beautiful. That's great to be able to work with customers like that and produce something that they've been dreaming of having and wearing.
Yeah.
It must be really, really exciting. So I just did a live on Thursday, which talked about synthetic diamonds or lab grown. Have you been setting any jewelry with synthetics or with the lab growns?
Yes, I've been doing a bunch with lab growns over the last couple of years because their quality has been much higher now, and it's virtually indistinguishable between that and a real diamond. So I've done eternity bands with lab grown stones, and it could be created at half the cost of what it would be to have a genuine diamond in it. And if the diamond dealers didn't tell me that those stones were lab grown, I would never be able to tell myself.
So do you find that it's more and more of a trend?
Yes, it is.
You've been doing like engagement rings with the...
I've done a couple of engagement rings, but more with smaller stones, like going into eternity bands or tennis bracelets. And
like hoop earrings and things?
Hoop earrings like you're wearing today, inside-outside ring earrings. Because an earring like this could hold over 3 carats of diamonds in it.
Wow.
And you can reduce that cost drastically by putting in lab-grown stones and getting exactly the same finished look at the end.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the trend of the future, especially with the carbon footprint and everything like that, and looking exactly like diamonds. But we're old school. Diamonds are here to stay, of course. So as the jeweler and diamond setter for Rejewelvenated Designs, what do you like the most about repurposing diamonds and jewelry?
About meeting with a client that hasn't worn a piece of jewelry in years because it's been sitting in their jewelry box. It's either an old style or a piece that they've had, that they went through a divorce and it just has bad connotations to them, and they just don't want to look at it anymore because it just gives them bad feelings. And what we do at that point is we could take, like we had a customer that had a tennis bracelet that was no longer worn from her mother, and she just wasn't interested in wearing a tennis bracelet anymore, but she really couldn't afford, she wanted an eternity band, but really couldn't afford one. So we took the diamonds from the tennis bracelet and designed a wedding band with double row wedding bands for them, and they got a diamond eternity band at a fraction of the cost it would be to buy this ring new. And seeing their face when a piece like that is finished is very, very rewarding.
Oh yeah. So now they saved so much from the diamonds, and they got a custom piece made just for them. You know, that is rewarding, and they can wear it every single day, love it every single day, and you're part of that story. So that's so exciting. I want to thank you so much for sharing your diamond wisdom with everybody today. Does anybody watching have any questions for us? You can type them in the chat if you have any questions. If not, if you're watching this as a replay, then certainly type in the comments any diamond questions you have, any jewelry questions you have, and Michael and I will be so happy to answer them. And if you're having any jewelry or diamond problems, we'll be happy to help you. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with anybody that you feel wants to know about diamond setting. And stay tuned for Tuesday's live, where I'll be talking about the human need for diamond jewelry and how it can help you now during these times. So I want you all to have a beautiful Sunday, even though it's a little cloudy here, and enjoy it. And I will see you on Tuesday. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.